What's going on? My name's Caleb and I am a full-time reseller. In September, I had an excellent month of sales, over $20,000, about $22,000 or so in sales. I already did a video showing you guys the very best items from what I picked up, those home run items that you're going to pick up pretty much anytime you find them. But today we're going to go into what I would call a bread and butter masterclass. I'm going to show you guys the nitty gritty details of the sales that keep the cash flow going great in my business, keep my business running smoothly. You can't always bank on finding those grail or amazing items. So these are going to be items that you can find all the time at your thrift store and items that I find all the time at my thrift stores. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to jump into a little bit of the numbers so you guys can see where these numbers and where these items are coming from. So let's jump into my screen here. The first thing you can see, this is from September 1st to September 30th. So here we go. The month of September. You can see I did $18,639 in sales. And then Poshmark, doesn't have an easy way to see this particular screen on Poshmark. But I did, I think, $3,000 to $4,000 in sales on Poshmark as well, getting close to that, $22,000 number. And you can see here what I'm selling, $3,200 of jeans, $2,000 of button-down shirts, $2,000 of jackets, $1,200 of pants, and then these holiday collectibles. That's not really going to be in the bread and butter things because those are like one singular higher ticket items. What I want to show you next is how I'm going to classify bread and butter. So this is going to be bread and butter for my business. These are based on the metrics in my business. So right here, I'm on ebayfeescalculator.com. I just typed this into Google. I hope it's accurate. It seems accurate to me. If I sell something for 20 bucks, that's what I'm putting in right here. I charge $8.95 shipping. I do charge $8.95 shipping on most items. On some items, I do charge $6.50. And on some items, I charge well more than $8.95, $9.95, $14.95, $19.95, but most of my items are $8.95. On average for bread and butter items, now my total average cost of goods is higher than $6, but $6 is the max that I'm paying for these type of bread and butter items. I'm not paying more than $6, and $6 is a typical thrift price in my area for something they just think is a generic item, and a lot of these are generic items. And then I went on Pirate Ship and grabbed my last month average. My average shipping cost was $6.37. So of course, some are going to be less, some are going to be a little bit more. We're just looking at singular orders here. I'm a top rated seller, have a premium eBay store. Right here, I put in the promoted ad rate as 2.5% because I promote at 5%, but less than half of my sales come from promoted sales. So I looked at my selling fees on this page right over here. And you can see it's at 16%. So basically, I got charged the extra 5% fee on less than half the items. So I'm going to put in 2.5 to basically say some will be promoted, some won't be promoted. So then we come down here, and if all those things work out, my profit on average would be $12.24. I personally, am aiming for a $15 profit or more. I'm willing to pick up a $10 profit if I know it sells quick and it's really easy to ship and list. But I think for bread and butter, I think $12 profit is a fine number because a lot of these are going to be a little bit more than $20. We're going to look at $20 to $30 sales price plus shipping sales. And on Poshmark, I actually bumped it up to a little, like maybe $21, $22 just because the fees, who even knows the fees anymore? They change them, just changed them. So I don't know what's going to be a bread and butter item on there. I'll have to do some digging on the data once I'm actually able to make some sales with the new fee structure. But that's a little background of how we're getting to the point here. $20 to $30 for me and my business is basically 12 to 16, 17 bucks in profit. And that's what I'm calling the bread and butter. The easy stuff, I can find this all the time. And that's the terms for this experiment here. So I'm going to jump into the Poshmark items first. We have a Brooks Brothers sweater. And I'm just going to go item by item. Sometimes I'm just going to give you what the item is so you can put it in your file folder. Sometimes I'll dive into a little bit of the item. I think kind of the reason this will be valuable is by just telling you guys why it's a bread and butter item, because a lot of these are items that I pass on a lot of similar items, but I pick up specific items from these types of items, if that makes sense. So we'll see some themes as we go through. And here's a big theme right off the start. We're finding brands with high retail prices that may be saturated on eBay, but the best items within those brands. And in this instance, it's an upgraded material. So this is a Brooks Brothers sweater. Seems pretty basic, but it is merino wool and cashmere blend, which is even better than just wool. We're adding in cashmere. So cashmere is even better than wool. Wool is already an elevated material. Now we're adding in cashmere. And it has this like quilted texture on it. Sorry, I don't use Poshmark often. This quilted texture, a little faux suede lining on the trim. It just had some nice details. This picture shows off the quilting and that detail. And we have wool and cashmere in the title. Sold for 28 bucks plus shipping. So that one, is even a little bit better than those metrics we originally started out with. Here we have a $30 sale. I put this in here anyway because it is kind of like two items, but usually thrift stores price the PJ section a little bit cheaper. I picked these up for $3. It was the shirt and the flannel pants from LL Bean, sold for $30. And a lot of times thrifts will sell them as a set. So say you pay like, $5 for the set. It's a nice little flip there. Complete sets are a good bread and butter item. Just as I'm here, I'm just going to kind of do a stream of consciousness. Nike Tech Fleece is better than bread and butter, but this is a youth size, so which brings an item I would never sell right up into that bread and butter category. And you're more likely to see this sitting on the shelf longer because it's not as a desirable item to the consumer at the thrift store, but there's still a market for it online, sold for 25 bucks. Here we have some LL Bean jeans. I pass on 95% of LL Bean jeans. These are the Bean Flex with the Cool Max denim. So once again, very, very specific on LL Bean jeans, but we have Bean Flex with the Cool Max blend. That means they are very cool, so people will wear them in the summer. Not really summer, but it is an item that has a little bit better sell-through than just regular LL Bean jeans. So nice 6 into 25 there. Here we have a Peter Millar quarter zip pullover. People hating on Peter Millar now, saying it's dead. I mean, I sell this brand so often. Another theme here is items where you can find the style code and the style name. So this style code ME looks like an O, K40. I typed that in, found this was the Crown Comfort Interlock. That's how I was able to sell it for 30 bucks instead of if you just type in cotton sweater, Peter Millar quarter zip on eBay, the comps will be terrible. Here we have some Abercrombie and Fitch jeans, 34 by 32. It's a meh size, not horrible, but low rise is I think what sold these. Low rise is coming back in style. A nice dark wash that goes with anything. An Abercrombie and Fitch is another one of those brands where the retail price is pretty high. It's kind of making that Y2K resurgence in popularity. So it's getting searched more. It's more of a household name again. And the low rise, I think, is what kind of bumped these over the edge to get them sold. Okay, here we have a few different things that I look for. We have a really strong athletic brand mixed with a team with a large following or a loyal following. So small schools are still good too, but this is a big school, Michigan Wolverines with the Nike. We also have hoodies. Hoodies are better than sweatshirts most of the time. And we have size 3XL. So that's going to sell a little bit better as well. All those things combined, 29. That I would say 28, 29, anything over 25 really is more like elevated bread and butter. Hopefully it's stuff you can find regularly. But to me, $15, $20 profit is really good. Here we have another LL Bean item. Catadine Ironworks, great line of LL Bean right now. This is just a fleece-lined sweatshirt with the snap button Henley. Let me see if there's a style code on here. So you can see the style code. It's a little blurry. Poshmark ruins the photo quality. 298100, I think. I typed that into Google, and that's how I found this was the Katadine Ironworks bonded waffle fleece Henley. And that's how I was able to sell like a pretty basic LL Bean Henley for 27 bucks, or a basic LL Bean sweatshirt for 27 bucks. When if you type in LL Bean sweatshirt on eBay, it'd be probably not that great of a sell through rate and pretty low sales prices. Burton Dry Ride. This is their waterproof line. This is a women's small, so not a good size at all, in my opinion. Still sold for 25 bucks because it's the elevated line from Burton. If you found like a men's ski jacket size XL, probably way better than a bread and butter price. Okay, here we have Polo Ralph Lauren terry cloth polo. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if it's really coming through on the camera, but if you don't know terry cloth, it's almost like a fuzzy brushed cotton feel. Also, when you see this new tag on Polo Ralph Lauren with the QR code, you can scan that with your phone. It'll authenticate the item, tell you the model name, and give you other details from the item. And it's also something that people that buy polo are looking for because they know those are the newest styles. They just started doing that, I think, less than a couple years ago. So yeah, really cool embroidered pocket. I mean, just we're stacking little things on top to make this, a polo Ralph Lauren polo, a technically not good item. We're making it into a nice little elevated bread and butter here. Size 2XL, another positive. Lots of really good things about that item. Okay, here we have a vintage sweater. It's super colorful. I put geometric. It was made in USA. The brand is Colors by Alexander Julian. Not a good brand, but it was made in USA, had a really nice colorful pattern on it. And that's how I was able to use a style-based purchase to get this sold for 25 bucks. If you search this on eBay, you'll see some sold in my range or even higher, the ones with really cool prints. And then you'll see tons that are like plain and boring with not good materials. And this one is cotton. It's not an elevated material, but it does have the cool pattern and made in USA. But you'll see like plain, like just like a plain gray cotton one on eBay, and you can't sell them for even 10 bucks. So this was the style that sold this one for bread and butter price. Here we have Columbia. People will be hating on me for Columbia, but this is from the Omnitech line, women's snow pants, 27 bucks plus shipping. You can see right here it says waterproof and breathable. Waterproof is very valuable for people. You know, if you need an affordable option, you don't want to go out and spend the $198 retail price from Patagonia to get these pants in that brand. You go on eBay and get these waterproof pants for 27 bucks plus shipping on Poshmark. I mean, they're getting a good deal for the function here. The model name is the Bugaboo from the Omnitech line. Let me see it. Did I look that up? Yeah, right here. Oh, it's Poshmark blurred it out, but XL8195 or something like that. That's how I got that information to find out this was the Bugaboo model. Okay, here we have some Levi's 501s. Modern pair, nothing crazy about these. They're stretch. I would actually say stretch is worse on the 501s. You don't want the ones that stretch. But the inseam is longer than the waist. That's a good sign that you have a nice little pair of bread and butter 501s. Even modern, if the waist is shorter or if the inseam is longer than the waist, I'm usually buying those at that $5-6 price. So for 24 bucks. Here's another good example. Here's another good example. Cinch jeans, 34 by 34. Keyworded this up with these whisker. I don't even know if that's really whiskering, but I just kind of wanted to draw attention to that. A little fading there. I guess whiskering is more when it's like evenly throughout. Cowboy, Western, Rancher. Yeah, once again, just bread and butter. Cinch is not like a great brand anymore, but it can be bread and butter. Okay, here's another category of bread and butter that I think is worth noting. Really good items with a flaw or a company logo. This one is a flaw. It had a stain right on the front, but Barber, I think that's how you say it. I don't really know. I don't really know much designer, but their jackets and coats and down pieces and outerwear sell for really, really good money. And so this is just something that's a really, really good item, probably a 50, 60, $70 item with a flaw. I'm selling it for half price and somebody's getting a good deal. They might try to get that stain out, or they might just wear it as is and they don't care. That would be the same if this had like a company logo embroidered on it. If it was like a $60 item has a company logo, I'm still going to pick that up and try to sell it for 35, 40 bucks. Okay, here we have a Shawn Mendes tour hoodie. Really cool puff paint graphic on it. So when I saw this, I just knew this would be a Poshmark sale. I don't just screamed Poshmark to me. And sure enough, it sold 22 bucks. I picked that up on $2 day at the thrift store. The comps on eBay were non-existent for this item, but at $2, I didn't mind taking the gamble. Here we have a Barstool sports hoodie. This was not on like a good blank, just literally on a independent blank that they printed it. But Barstool is just very like mainstream media now. Like it's like secondary mainstream, I guess. Like everyone knows what Barstool is, so it has its own strong following. They have so many characters people really latch onto, and I just use that to sell this very, very basic. It's literally a blank hoodie that Barstool just mass printed these on, and here we go. And I will end out the Poshmark section with another pair of Levi's. These had like a rinsed kind of faded out look, very distressed. But these were the 527 boot cut model. That model hasn't been the greatest. It definitely dipped down during summer, but this is like more of like a late 2000s Y2K tag. Probably could have thrown vintage in there. But another thing that this one had going for it is that the leg opening was super wide. So I was able to say baggy. Yeah, it has a 20-inch leg opening, 10 inches across, 10 plus 10 is 20. 20-inch leg opening, so I could throw baggy in the title, and that's probably why this was able to, still sell quickly for that $25 price. Before I jump over into the eBay items, I do want to say Poshmark really, really, really came through for me in the summer. Now, I'm selling a lot of jackets and fall items that would sell on eBay regardless. So I'm curious to see how Poshmark does going forward, but I'm not going to, complain about an extra $3,000 to $4,000 in sales. But the reason that Poshmark works for me is because of the software Auto Posher. They just recently updated their discount. So if you want to try it out, you get a free trial. So you can try it out for a little bit. It is pretty limited, but you get a free trial and 15% off your first month if you use my code Caleb Sells, or there's a link in the description below. But I highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you already cross list, you can import your stuff very easily. Or if you want to try cross listing, I highly, highly recommend it. I was using other softwares to cross list previously and had to stop because there were so many issues and errors, and I was double selling so many items, and their software just works so smoothly. And they also have the sharing that you need to do for Poshmark built in. It is an additional cost, but their virtual assistant service on Poshmark, and they actually have a virtual assistant like features for eBay, Mercari, and Depop. I use the eBay one. It automatically sends offers for me. It takes down my stale listings, lowers the price, recreates new listings for me. So I really just can't recommend it enough. I'm not trying to like make money off you guys on this. I just genuinely think that tool it saved my hide for sure during the summer when sales were slower, just getting those extra eyes. And a nice place to use cross listing is on these bread and butter items that may sell a little bit slower. Just getting an extra chance on Poshmark to sell them is definitely worth it in my opinion. So that's my spiel. We'll jump back into the nitty gritty here. Okay. So here we are. I am sorted by last month, and then I did the order items that were paid and shipped, which means that weren't canceled. And I'm sorting by the total. So these numbers might, there's no real easy way to just look from $20 to $30 sales price, but we'll just show as many as I can. Here's a pair of black 501s. Black denim for me sells better, so I kind of broke my rules on the inseam thing there. But black 501s are, yeah, definitely bread and butter for me. Vintage Pittsburgh Steelers windbreaker, vintage sports stuff. If it's not like a grail, really cool item, kind of falls in that bread and butter category. So you got to get it affordably. Here we have an LL Bean sweatshirt. This one was size medium tall, which is why I picked it up. Normally I would have passed on this basic item because there weren't really many keywords or a model name that I could associate to elevate that sell-through rate or that sales price. But because it was a tall size, I did pick it up and it sold really quick for 23 plus shipping. New at Tags mall brands is another category in this bread and butter world in my store. So here we have some Lucky Brand jeans, women's. Men's actually, Lucky Brand jeans probably better than bread and butter prices, but women's 24 plus shipping. We have some LA Lakers Kobe Bryant shorts. Kobe Bryant, really anything is going to take a basic item and bump it into bread and butter, or a good item and bump it into better than bread and butter. FootJoy sweatshirt from the US Open 2022. Guess I could do this and you guys could see it. This is just a basic sweatshirt from FootJoy. They're not really known for sweatshirts, so I wasn't sure if this would be a quick seller, but it actually did sell pretty quick. You can see the SKU here is 78.28. I'm currently on like 8,100, so it's like a few weeks old. And it sold a couple weeks ago, so I guess that sold in probably like a week. This is a retail arbitrage find, so I won't count it in the bread and butter because I paid, I think, like 12 bucks for that. Okay, here we have another Nike Tech Fleece. These were shorts, sold for 23 plus shipping. Vintage pure cashmere sweater. So once again, elevated materials. This brand Harrods was really not like a brand that was desirable or anything, but because it was 100% cashmere, I was able to get that bread and butter price of 25 bucks. Same thing kind of here, a Polo Ralph Lauren track jacket. Taking a brand that's pretty saturated, not that great, but I'm taking an outerwear piece, which is one of the better items, and then still pricing it very affordably at 25 bucks to get a quick sale. Here we have another Polo Ralph Lauren item. This is like a heavyweight crew neck fleece sweatshirt with that blue and silver 90s tag, 22 bucks plus shipping. Here we have a Polo Ralph Lauren chambray shirt, 25 plus shipping. This is the Polo Ralph Lauren show now. That was, I think, my second or third most selling brand over the last 2 years, and Nike was my number one. So I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of Polo Ralph Lauren and a lot of Nike and a lot of Levi's, a lot of LL Bean. I think those are going to be on here a lot. Here we have some Nike joggers. Joggers, I do think sell pretty well in these like athletic-y brands. So what I did on this one was I came over here, found the style code DQ9306, and that's how I found out these were the Nike sportswear jogger, and they were women's, which if these were men's, they probably would have sold even better, in my opinion. Adidas sweatpants, not like a particularly good model, but they were new at tags. So once again, like a mid to low tier item, but new at tags bumps it up into that bread and butter range. This is a pretty cool item. We have a Levi's plaid shirt. It's like a wool flannel. You can see here that it is a wool polyester blend, but Levi's shirts actually can be pretty good. So denim shirt is good. The chambray shirt is going to fall into this bread and butter category for sure. Here we have a Twillery button-up shirt. Not too much to say about this. This is actually just a pretty decent brand with a good sell-through rate. Sales prices came down from like a year or two ago. Judy Blue skinny jeans, that's a bread and butter staple for me. It's one of the only brands I will pick up skinny jeans. See if we can show you the tag here. Well, right here it says Judy Blue. It's still a little blurry for some reason. Peter Millar Ryder Cup. I did not put Ryder Cup in the title because they went through and did a boatload of Veros. So I would not put Ryder Cup in your title, but it was a Ryder Cup emblem here, which is why I sold it a little bit less because it's not going to get that exposure, but it still was a pretty good Peter Millar polo. We have some vintage camo Gore-Tex pants. Honestly, if I would have listed these originally in the right season, these probably could have sold for a lot more. But you can see here the SKU is 5313. So I probably listed this like in the dead of summer. So that's probably why it sold now. Probably is a little bit better of a sales price these days. Okay, here's another category. Levi's 505, new with tags, but has a flaw or a problem with it. So when you see read in my title, that means there was a problem. I don't know what the problem was. Oh, it had like that spray foam insulation. I don't know how that got on it, but there was spray foam insulation on it. So that took an item that'd probably be like a $35, $40 sale, brought it down to 20 bucks, but I picked that up for cheap because they saw the flaws on it. So once again, I'd say that's kind of like a elevated item with a flaw, brought it down to bread and butter. Vintage Nike track pants. It's a good bread and butter. This one wasn't super old. That's what the tag looked like. Here's another one of those Under Armour shirts that was retail arbitrage, so not really bread and butter. Peter Millar Performance Quarter Zip. Okay, here we go. Decent item with a company, in this instance, a golf course logo, brings down the value. But since the item is a little bit better than that to begin with, still kept in that bread and butter range, 23 bucks plus shipping. 7 Diamonds 4-way stretch. Nice little bread and butter item to be on the lookout for. Good size of 2XL. Probably could have held out for a bit more, but I remember that sold in like a day, so I just accepted an offer. We have more Abercrombie and Fitch jeans. These were a straight leg Horton Classic Straight. I think that's sometimes the Abercrombie puts the style name like on the back of the fly, and then sometimes it's like here on the back of the hip. Just want to look up sell-through rate and sales prices on each style individually. There's so much variation there. Or if you pick them up super cheap, you can sell them for 20 bucks or 15 to 20 bucks, almost any style, probably not skinny. But if you get it cheap enough, if you're paying $5, $6, I would definitely check in on that. $20 even, that's probably an offer that I took from somebody else just to get it sold quick. J. Jill down puffer vest. Almost all down puffer vests are at least bread and butter, and then good ones are going to be elevated bread and butter or really good items. This did hit my discount sale. You can see it was listed like in the middle of summer. So if this was listed right now, it probably would sell for a good bit more than that $22 price. Here we have some BKE jeans for 21 bucks plus shipping. This is a very recent SKU, so I probably just got an offer right when I listed these and just accepted it. I would say BKE is probably a little bit better, but Alec is not one of the particularly good cuts. So that's probably why I just took that offer quickly. A FootJoy wool sweater. So because it was wool, so I picked this one up. If it was a cotton sweater, I would not have picked it up from FootJoy. If it was a polyester spandex, like performance-y material, I still would have picked it up. Probably even better than the wool one for golf stuff. Once again, Goose Down Puffer, LL Bean. I said read here. So yeah, it stains right on the front and still sold for $22.50 plus shipping. Levi's 569, 3230 and baggy. Honestly, I don't really pick up 569s anymore. Yeah, I'm guessing that's an older SKU, so that probably sat for like 3 months. I'd have to look up the sell-through rate as we get into fall and more jeans are selling, but I had stopped picking them up in the summer. Okay, here's another good example. A very good item, Mugsy pants, but they had a flaw, which brought it down into the bread and butter range. Now, when I say flaw, like it depends on the flaw, depends on the item. Like a Carhartt can be distressed, or some jeans can be very distressed, but on like tan chino pants, the flaw is gonna stick out pretty bad. Did I point to it? Yeah, there's a big white spot right there. So sometimes when you're picking up items, when I say a good item with a flaw, like there's still layers to how bad that flaw is, where the flaw is. Like a hole in the crotch on jeans, it's never gonna sell. Like no matter what it is, unless it's like salvage Levi's denim from the '60s or something. Ralph Lauren denim and supply jeans. That's a great example of bread and butter. I accepted the $20 offer because this is not a great size. Better sizes could do better than 20 bucks for sure. These shoes, I actually just sold them. My grandma was getting rid of them, so I wouldn't have picked these up or known what to pay for these. But free stuff is good inventory if it's has somewhat of a sell-through rate. Another pair of 527s, 33, 32. This is a different Y2K tag, but that's also a Y2K tag. These two Lululemon hoodies, I have no idea why this one sold for only 20 bucks. I thought this was super cool with this pink tie-dye. Maybe because my pictures are like dark and stink. That was a long time ago. That's probably a year ago, 33.90. Nah, not a year ago, like 9 months ago. And then this one sold relatively quickly, but it had bleach stains like right on the hood and right in the shoulder in very visible spots. So decent item, flaw brought it down to bread and butter item. Probably like a $35 item without the flaws on that Lululemon hoodie. J. Crew Japanese denim, another one of my bread and butters. It's inside the pocket here. This one's Karabo. Japanese denim 484 slims are a bread and butter staple in my store. BKE jeans for 20 bucks plus shipping. Once again, I'm not sure why some of these sell cheaper, but sometimes if they just don't sell and they get marked down in my store, then they end up selling at this price. But BKE jeans are pretty findable, I would say. Here we have a Huff rugby polo, but it was new at tag. So mall brand, I think Huff is like a mall brand or a sold at the mall brands like PacSun. Mall brand, new at tags, elevated it to bread and butter. Carhartt heavyweight flannel. I use the style code here, 105439, and that's how I knew. They just called it the heavyweight flannel, so there wasn't any good keywords that I got from there, but at least I was able to call it heavyweight and know that that was like actually what it's called. Here's a really good pair of jeans, vintage real loose, but they had some flaws, so they sold for that, round bread and butter price. Workrite FR lab coat. I knew nothing about this, but when I saw it, I was intrigued. So this is a flame resistant lab coat. And anything new at tags, if I don't know what the value is, I pretty much look it up at this point. And they end up being good. I found like 4 of these. I paid $3 a piece, and all of them have sold. This one was actually sold for the lowest at 20 bucks, and a couple sold on Poshmark for more money. It's 77 SKU, so a lot of these probably sold before September, which is why they're not going to be in this filter. Mavi jeans, 32 by 28. I didn't realize these were hemmed to 28. I probably would have passed, but I'm lucky to sell these for a little over 20 bucks with that shortened inseam. Here we have a nice all over print Hawaiian shirt. I think I got this in the J-Ride buyout. Just happy to move that stuff before winter because that's a very summer item. Eddie Bauer, new at tags, not a great brand, elevating it with new at tags. Sold for 20 bucks plus shipping. Levi's 527s, 20 plus shipping. Some Wranglers, 31 by 32, so longer inseam than waist, and they were flame resistant, 20 bucks plus shipping. These are super distressed. I got these for like $3. You can see the like wear there. 3 into 20 bucks. I mean, that's Nice little $15 profit there for me. LL Bean fleece lined flannel shirt. LL Bean, you guys know I'm here for the style code 285013. I typed that into Google. That's how I figured out it was the fleece lined flannel shirt. Which, you know, that's an example where it doesn't give you like really any advantage over some of the other ones, because I would have put that in my title anyway. But even just lining up those words in the right order still does help you rank in search, because people that know what that's called are going to type in LL Bean fleece lined flannel shirt, women's medium, and yours is going to rank very high in search. Patagonia lightweight flannel. The midweight and the heavyweight can sell for a good bit more than this. But the lightweight one sold for $22.29. Did hit the markdown sale, so you know, maybe in fall these are going to sell better. That's below $20, so we're going to leave it off. Banana Republic, the travel jeans. If you get them super cheap, they sell fast for me if you get them cheap. But I wouldn't even pay $5-6 for that, because they don't sell very well. That's probably like closer to the top of what they sell for. Hudson jeans, longer inseam than waist. Levi's 527. Here's another Patagonia flannel. I think this one's more like a button-up shirt, but it had kind of a flannel-y material. All right, here's another one of our categories we're revisiting. A really good item with a company logo brings down the value. So this Holderness and Bourne vest probably is like a, I don't know, $40 vest, but with the company logo, it takes it down to $22. Akron Zips. It's a college with a Nike golf polo, school with a following, plus well-known athletic item, bread and butter, $22.45 plus shipping. Levi's 501 CT. CT stands for custom taper. Really cool distressing on this, which is why I picked them up, even in a bad size. But they did have the 34-inch inseam, sold for a little over $20. Lululemon swim shorts. I thought these were running shorts, which would have done better, but they're swim shorts, and swim shorts, just from my experience, sell not great in pretty much every brand. Levi's vintage made in USA Levi's 550s in black. Those sold for lower than I would have thought, but I mean, honestly, I would have picked them up at $6 still. Vintage Levi's made in USA in the color black, even with 550s not being a great cut. Here we have a Patagonia sweater. This is like the Chinchilla snap tee. It had like a local lacrosse team embroidered on it. So one of the worst embroideries you could get, but that item's just so good, it still was able to sell for about $20. I think we're going to start getting out of the $20 sales here. So this will be the last one on this page, and I have a whole other page going up towards $30. This was all working from $24 down to $20. And we'll be showing you a whole other page of bread and butter items. Here we have a Donald Ross performance vest. When you see this really stretchy polyester blend performance material on the golf brands, that does elevate it. This even had a company logo on it, and I was still able to get it sold for $21 plus shipping. All right, so now we're going to work up on this one. Here we have a New Tags Yata Golf 4XL. So Yata Golf, not that great of a brand, and it was in TJ Maxx and Marshalls and all that stuff, and got yellow tagged. So 4XL, good size, really good, like geometric / camo print and New Tags, and it still only sold for $26. That just tells you that that brand needed a lot of help to get up into the bread and butter range. Duluth Trading New Tags. This was used. I wouldn't have picked it up, or I would have picked it up if it was like $2 or plus size. I mean, plus size, 3XL or bigger. But in a regular size, it's got to be New Tags to pay $6. Vintage LL Bean fleece jacket. This is that nice yellowed vintage tag. Size tag was cut, so I listed it lower. Probably could have sold for even a little bit more, being that nice faded vintage tag. School team, Seton Hall Pirates, mixed with Under Armour. Nice little pullover jacket, $23 plus shipping. New Tags J. Crew, but it had dust marks from storage. So pretty good item, mixed with a flaw, brought it down into bread and butter range. Here we have a modern LL Bean warm-up jacket, 205107. I typed that into Google. It says LL Bean warm-up jacket. So that's how I knew the model name. Now I just know that because I've sold this plenty of times. It's like a windbreaker shell, and then it has the fleece lining on the inside. I wish those were better because I do find them pretty often, but honestly, it's like a $30 jacket, and I accepted that $25 offer. Rag and Bone men's jeans. I don't know if I underpriced this or not really sure. I don't find those super often, so I can't tell you too much about that, but I picked them up cheap. Here we have some Mugsy jeans. They sold for less because they were really stretched out. The size was 32 by 32, and they were shrank. Tag was 33 by 34, but they fit 32 by 32. So when it's that far off, I do price them cheaper because that's not, desirable. Here we have a Nike Golf mixed with Pebble Beach Golf Links. It's a very prestigious, notable course added to a very basic item, making it a bread and butter item. This is a women's jacket. If this was a men's jacket, probably would have been a lot better, but the women's golf stuff for me just doesn't sell super great. Some light wash Levi's 501s because it was a light wash, really nice fade here. I did kind of break my sizing rule again where I want the longer inseam. Here we have some vintage 90s made in USA jeans, but you can see here these had yellowing like all throughout. Whoever stored these totally ruined them. These could have been such a cool pair of jeans. But once again, really good item. Flaw brings it down into that bread and butter range. This was listed a long time ago, so yeah, kind of bummed those didn't sell for more. I didn't find them in perfect condition because that would have been cool because they were new as well. Vintage Bill Blast sweater. I sell these a ton, so I'm going to move on quickly so the market stays good on those. I'm just teasing. These Bill Blast sweaters, when they say hand framed, made in USA, they're like 25 bucks. So I've bought and sold that exact item tons of times. It's a nice little bread and butter item in my store. Vintage Bill Blast sweater. FootJoy athletic fit pants. This little logo is what you're looking for, not the big embroidered logo. And it also says athletic fit right over the logo inside on the pocket. Those are the better version of the FootJoy pants. The regular ones I leave behind every time. Lululemon shift jacket. I don't know if this is worth more and I just didn't get it right or wasn't photoed correctly, or if it's just not that great of an item. Yeah, I'm not really sure here. I would have thought, like, if I saw this on the rack, okay, it doesn't have numbers around the size dots. This is probably a very old style, which is why that didn't sell very well. Bad brand, but new with tags and good size. Club room, luxury cashmere, and elevated material. So this probably has a super high retail price at like Macy's or something. Yeah, $150. But it's cashmere. It's a good size of 2XL, and it's new with tags. So that probably has a horrible sell-through rate on eBay, but all those things combined, I got it sold for 26 plus shipping. Penn State, Nike. Big school, Nike. Center swoosh is the keyword here that got me a little bit more money, 26 plus bucks plus shipping. Without that center swoosh, it's probably one I would pass on just because it was kind of basic, or I might have priced it at like 23 plus shipping. But very fast full price sale, probably undersold it because it has that center swoosh. This is retail arbitrage, so not really bread and butter, but I did pay, I think 10 bucks for these. Polo Ralph Lauren windbreaker. The condition was not great. This was all worn off the collar, so I did price this one a little bit cheap. But yeah, any Polo Ralph Lauren outerwear, I'm pretty much buying, to be honest. Modern Guess jeans, not good. Modern Guess jeans, new with tags, is a bread and butter. So if you get these for $6, it did have the triangle patch as well. So I knew I could use that keyword to get eyes on that item to get it sold. So if you looked up Nua tags, Guess jeans, they're probably not a great sell through rate. But if it has something about it, like say it's a boot cut or a baggy style or has that triangle patch, which is like a retro back to the vintage style, you could probably get it sold. Here we have a Brooks Brothers sweater with elevated materials. This is a collared sweater and it's made of silk 70%. So a lot of times brands will put like 2% silk or 5% silk or 5% cashmere, 5% linen to be able to put linen on their tag and market the item and sell it for a premium price, but it doesn't actually feel nice or it's not actually great material. It's just cotton with a touch of cashmere. So when I saw this one was 70% silk, this one is the opposite. It's mostly the nice material. So I knew that one was going to sell a little bit better because I knew it was going to feel really nice. Or the buyer was going to know it would feel nice because it's mostly silk. Anyway, collared sweaters, I kind of experiment with them. I can't say they're good or bad or helps or hurts the value, but the silk is why I picked that one up. I did list that as a polo collar shirt sweater, so I don't even know what you really call that. But yeah, uh, I don't know how to pronounce this brand. Sene. This had a horrible sell-through rate, but decent sales price. So I undercut the market and got it sold quickly for bread and butter price. A very niche item. This Flex Tech, there's suits from this Sene, I guess we'll say Sene. Flex Tech suits that sell for really good money. So maybe something to be on the lookout for and look it up because I just did a quick research when I got these and yeah, use that information to get it sold quickly. Banana Republic, bad brand, good materials, Angora cashmere. When I saw luxury blend, I knew to look at the materials. This is cotton, Angora rabbit hair, and cashmere. Now it's not as good as 70% Angora, but 15% and 14% are better than those like 2% or 5% where they just get you in there for the marketing. Because it did have a nice feel to it when I felt the sweater. Levi's corduroys, definitely bread and butter. Better than the pants or jeans, I guess to an extent. Like 514s, I would pretty much pass every single time, but in corduroys, it's a nice bread and butter. Here we have a FootJoy reversible jacket. It's like a windbreaker on one side and a fleece jacket on the other side. It's not like a good style. It's not overly performance based. It's not doesn't have like a stretchy material or anything. So it's just like a bread and butter item. If you found something like that from FootJoy that was like a performance jacket or like a hydro light or hydro knit or something like that, probably like a 30, 40, $50 jacket. These had no information on eBay, but this is 55 DSL, which is a line of diesel. And I couldn't find much about this at all, but I picked it up because it said diesel on it and diesel had been selling really well for me. And I recognize this inner tag, part of the diesel family. So for 28 bucks plus shipping really quickly. So probably underpriced them, but I didn't have any data to go off of. I picked those up cheap and got them sold quick. So maybe a little bit better than bread and butter, but probably a bread and butter sale. Y2K 501s, not a good size, but it did have the Y2K. Did it have the Y2K patch? Actually had a nice paper tag. But you can see here 0902 is the date, so 2002. So those are actually Y2K, but vintage Levi's 501s, yeah, it's like a little bit better than bread and butter. Vintage Levi's 540s. I love the wash on these. Super cool, in my opinion. Levi's 540. These were made in USA, and the tag was down in on the side. 060 is 1990. So I put 80s and 90s because it's kind of like almost to the 80s. And, you know, just got that keyword in there. Honestly, didn't sell for that much, only 25 bucks because it's not a like desirable cut. If it was that age in a 517 or a 501, would have been way better than 25 bucks. Mavi cream jeans. Honestly, not too much to say there. Even that photo is not great. So the fact they still sold for 25 bucks, maybe I'm undervaluing these a little bit. Maybe they're a little better than I thought. I don't know. I'd probably be 50-50 on picking those up. I probably would have passed now 36.30 on a Mavi, but it's fall now, so maybe more stuff like that's going to be selling. So I need to check my sell through rates on Mavi jeans going forward for me personally. Another Seton Hall Pirates mixed with Under Armour. This is called the Daytona jacket when it has this like ribbed, puffy. It's kind of like the LL Bean Air Light, I think, Air Light material, where it's kind of like a quilted, puffy, ribbed thing. That's the Daytona. That's the keyword for that. Duluth jacket. Duluth stinks as a brand. But the better items are still going to sell in your bread and butter or elevated bread and butter price. Style code 31501. The top one on that tag is how I found out that this was the flapjack flannel lined fleece or flannel fleece lined shirt jacket. 25 bucks plus shipping. I'm guessing that's going to be 35 bucks in like the end of October. But right now it's a bread and butter. We'll see if it can elevate out of bread and butter. Levi's jacket, women's. Women's Levi's jackets honestly just don't sell that great, the modern ones. But if you're picking it up cheap, $5-6, it's still a good bread and butter item. And as we're in fall, a lot of these prices that were listed way before fall will go up as these people that had them listed in the summer at cheaper prices get sold out. The prices will go up. Here we have a cool sweater with a company logo on it. So really good item, a cool wool quarter zip sweater. Thermocore is the model name. Company logo brings it down in there. Women's Carhartt flannel fleece lined shacket thing. I used the style code to figure out this was called the Hubbard Sherpa lined flannel shirt jacket. And they put JAC in their model names and Carhartt. Instead of shirt jacket, they call it a shirt jack. I don't know. Anyway, sold for 26 bucks plus shipping. If that was men's, probably 35, 40 bucks. But the women's ones just sell a little bit less. Here's a really good item that had flaws. This was Zero Restrictions 3D Effects Plus. I don't know. Had a random company logo on it. Had some stains on it. Really dark stain there. Really bad. But Zero Restrictions, the good performance stuff, does sell really well. So without the flaw, maybe that's a $35 to $50 jacket. But once again, better item with a flaw on something that still has functional value. You can't, like a big stain on a dress shirt, there's no functional value there. A golf jacket that's very specific to a hobby still has the functional value. You can go out and golf in that with that little stain on the chest. So know the difference between your flaw if it ruins the item or just lowers the value. Abercrombie and Fitch, slim straight, distressed, good, decent size of 32-30. Bread and butter. Echo shoes. We haven't really had anything other than clothes here. I just looked this up and there were comps all over the place, but not a great sell-through rate. So I priced cheap. Echo has like extremely high retail price. So somebody that wants to get those shoes would have to pay like 150, 200 bucks to buy them from Echo. So I just kind of undercut the market because the sell-through rate was horrible. Able to get those sold for 28 bucks. 501XX, better than 501. Typically. Tommy Bahama hoodie. Tommy Bahama outerwear pieces or unique items like this hoodie are going to sell for a little bit of a premium rather than just your basic shirts. Here we have another Peter Millar quarter zip with a golf course logo on it, not one that added value, one that lowered the value. So we take a good item the logo lowers the value, but it's still a nice bread and butter. So I'm picking that up cheap. I'll do that all day. This must have went international because that's way cheaper. So they must have paid more to get in this range. Okay, vintage Levi's Carpenter. When I saw this, I just knew that this would sell for a Y2K baggy jean price. A really bad size of 40 by 32. Still sold for 28 bucks plus shipping. Nike Dry Fit ADV. This is one of the best lines of Nike. If you find this thing here, Dry Fit ADV, your item is better than just a typical item. Use the style code. This is called the TechKnit Dry Fit ADV Vented Running Shirt. Sold for 30 bucks plus shipping, full price, very quickly. Under Armour fleece pants. I picked them up because of the wild print. So a mediocre item, probably a $22 item, accept an offer anywhere from 15 to 20. Really cool pattern and print, 28 bucks. Affliction cargo shorts. I guess we're technically at 30 bucks. That's like the max of this bread and butter, but Affliction, Y2K, baggy, definitely in style. Sunderland of Scotland, not a good golf brand. Kind of like a basic generic golf thing that people can get things printed on. But this had the Winged Foot Golf Club logo on it. Winged Foot Golf Club. So you can kind of put it together there. Very prestigious course. Very high-level tournaments are played there. So I picked that up knowing that would do well. I think that even had a flaw on it as well. So for 28 plus shipping. Coolie Bar UPF pants, shirts, I think are not that great right now. UPF 50 plus, but the pants sold quick for me for 28 plus shipping. Under Armour, 3XL and new with tags, still only got 28 bucks. So it's not that great of an item, but all those things combined made it a nice bread and butter. Let's see, Citizens of Humanity men's jeans. I sold these for a lot more, but this was in summer, or like listed in summer, so the price was lowered, hit my discount of 15% off. So probably is going to be a little bit better. This is retail arbitrage, paid 10 bucks. Adriana Goldschmied, it's hemmed up to 28 inches. I should have never picked these up in the first place, so I wouldn't really I've been steering away from Adriana Goldschmied pants and jeans, but now that it's fall, I'll have to look them up again when I'm at the store. I don't want to endorse those because I kind of stopped picking them up. Peter Millar Crown Crafted shorts. Use this right here, ME0EB501. Type that into Google, found out these were the Crown Crafted Stealth Performance shorts. Put all that in my title, and they sold in a day for 28 bucks. This is called... Oh no, I didn't even put the style name in here. Maybe there's no style name. But here's the style code, 104991. A little Sherpa, Carhartt Sherpa fleece. Here we have a FootJoy performance jacket, or a performance like quarter zip thing. This has a Flat Cat Lambkin logo, so that is a golf thing. Those are golf grips. A Lambkin makes golf grips. And Flat Cat must be like a product. So I don't know if this really helped or hurt the value. It probably did neither, would be my guess. Because somebody that knows golf knows it's like a golf thing, so it's not weird to have that on your shirt. Levi's 501s, Y2K 3330, 26 plus shipping. Zara, new with tags, 30 plus shipping. Peter Millar, use the style code Arnie Fleece Quarter Zip, 30 plus shipping. See if there's any other bread and butter. John Barbados shoes. Those took forever to sell. I wouldn't recommend picking them up. Okay, a lot of these are going to be more than that bread and butter price now. So I think that's everything. So what do you guys think? That's the secret sauce to my business. I mean, I don't know how many items we went through there. If somebody wanted to go through and count them up, let me know in the comments below how many items that was, so I can, put that information out. I don't know how many items, but that's that many bread and butter items I sell. Now if you could see, I sell a lot of items for more than that. I have a whole video showing everything that's $40 or more. Of course, between $30 and $40, as you guys could see, like right at 30 bucks is a price point for me where I sell a lot of items. So I'm still scrolling, still just at 30 bucks. So there's a lot of items between 30 and 40 bucks. And then of course there's items that are under 20 bucks that I sell all the time as well. Things that are not as good as I thought they were. I have to accept an offer. It hits a deeper discount. It goes out of season. Like a golf polo right now, if somebody offers me 15 bucks for an item I have listed for 22 bucks, I'm going to take a $15 price right now. So there's going to be items that are even less, and that's not my goal when I'm outsourcing to get an item for 15 bucks. But if I get 15 items back from an item, after fees or whatever, let's say it's even 10 bucks, I can still go buy 2 more of these bread and butter items and turn that in to $25, $30 profit very easily and very quickly, especially in fall. The bread and butter in fall and winter is so much better because jackets, it's very easy to find a jacket that's worth 25 bucks. If you have good pricing at your thrift stores where you can get $5 jackets, you're going to find a lot of these bread and butter sales. They're a little bit more work to manage the jackets and coats, store them and whatever else. But it's definitely easy money that anybody can make. So that's the end of the bread and butter masterclass. I'm going to jump into the comments here. If you're watching the replay, thanks so much. Leave me a comment down below with what your favorite bread and butter item is. If you're here live, we can chat about that here as I go through the comments. And I do want to just say, if you do want to cross list, I started this video showing the Poshmark sales. Use AutoPosher. Their software is just really that good. Code Caleb Sells gets you 15% off and a free trial, or use the link down below. And we'll talk to you guys soon. If you're here live, let's catch up on the chat. K Fire's here, John's here, Chauncey's here, Vans is here, MB Designs, Diane. Hello from not so sunny Florida. I hope you're safe. Sandy's here, Dorothy's here. She's from Florida as well. Be praying for you guys. Tough times in Florida coming up, so just gonna pray it goes smoothly. Miss Lachey's here. I expect to be a reselling guru in 30 minutes. Hey, I can't do it in 30 minutes, but I hope I did help. C Rich says, do you pick up denim and supply jeans in good condition for 10 bucks? In a perfect size or style, I might pay 10 bucks for denim and supply, but probably not, to be honest. Mary says, hey, from Rhode Island, finally made it. LA Thrifter's here. Wendy's here. I always put flaw in my title rather than read. That's probably clearer than read, but I use read for so many different things, so it's just kind of habit. But the whole point is that you want them to read the description so that you don't get a return and they see that there is a flaw. So flaw is good, read is good. Definitely want to make it very obvious. Will, what's up? Tips for speed and photos. How many can you get in an hour? I was doing similar listings like all polos versus jeans. So if I'm just taking photos, I try to do about 25-ish items. I can photograph about 25-ish items per hour. Right now, because it's a lot of jeans, a lot of sweaters, a lot of coats, it takes a little bit longer. If I'm doing polos or shorts, I could probably do 35, 40 items in an hour, but that's about my speed. Tips for speed: have everything laid out in the most efficient way. So I go from left to right, and on the screen it's right to left. But I have my items stacked over here to my left. I take the item, I put it on the photo board. I take all the photos in the most time efficient way possible. So I'm flipping the item, moving the item the least amount. Then I move to my right. I put it in the bag, put my label on it, and then I put it right into the storage box that it goes into. I have my phone on a lanyard. When I'm doing it, so I don't have to keep picking up and putting my phone down, and that way it also doesn't keep changing orientation sideways and up and down. It always stays up and down because I have it here taking a picture, and then I put it down like this. I put it up here, take a picture, down like this. Those are a couple of my tips. Have everything you need right there and have all your items laid out ready to go. Lucky Scavenger said, do you have a good way to look up Nike style codes for clothing? Very rarely do the clothes pop up on Google, but always works for shoes. I feel like it does pop up pretty good on Google from my experience. Let me see if I can find an item in my sold here. Like I'll just search by Nike, and then maybe we can do it together and see. Like if I do that Nike Dry Fit ADV, you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. Okay, so style code is here. So I go here, DM4753. So I go Nike DM475. See, you can see it was in my recent there. Okay, right here. Men's dry fit ADV short sleeve running top. So it's literally right there. And then I saw right underneath it, Dick's Sporting Goods called it Tech Knit Ultra, I'm guessing short sleeve. And then right here, you can see Nike Tech Knit top. So I was able to get all those keywords just from a quick search on Google. Locke, what's up? How do your thrift stores do discounts? All the thrift stores around me have very different discounts. One does, I think it's 50% off after a month, and then it does a month at 50 cents. And then you also get a 25 or 20% off coupon every time you spend $100. If that makes sense. I have another one where they don't really do, they do $5, a $5 coupon every 100 you spend. And then it's $5 off every $30 you spend, like at the store, if that makes sense. So like if I go in and I spend $35, I get $5 off, but I have to spend $60 to get $10 off that day. So hopefully that. Oh, and then I guess the other place I go, they do a senior discount, which is 25% off. So I go on the senior discount day, and then they do half off starting after a week. So the color based on like a color system. So I, obviously go try to find the 50% off color, and then it's 25% off my whole order at the end because my mom goes with me. So shout out mom. Saves me a lot of money. It's like hundreds every week. So she's earned her keep. Josh says, how do you claim insurance on a USPS package? I have 2 packages that are lost. Let's see if I can show you. I won't pull it up until I can confirm that I can do that, so I don't like accidentally give you guys my information. Okay. So I'm not logged in, so this will not show any of my information. USPS.com, help, filing a claim. Then they're going to tell you to do a whole bunch of stuff. But I think if you click right here on file your claim, you have to create an account. So I'm not going to log in because I don't want to spam my own information on accident. But you can click start an online claim. And I've had really good success. I've gotten tons of checks from packages they've lost. Hundreds of dollars worth. Will says 30 an hour is pretty good if you're bagging the polos too. Yeah, so everything for me, if it's not a coat that can't fit in the bag, I'm also bagging in that time. So I'm bagging, I'm skewing it, and because I'm putting it into the final shipping poly bag, I don't do clear poly bags anymore. I write something on the label to tell me what the item is. Like if it's Levi's 501, I'll put 501. If it's Nike Dry Fit ADV shirt, I would put ADV. Like I don't always put the most generic thing. I try to put one thing that's like one step behind. Just like if I put Nike, I sell so many Nike items, I wouldn't know what is in there. So I try to put one step more than just like the brand so that I can confirm that it's the right item. Anyway, I do all that with that 20 to 30 an hour I'm doing all that inventory work as well. Black Screen Wrestling, how many are you listing per day? And does it equal the number you are selling? If it does, when did you start selling more than you list? Approximately how long it took? I am currently selling more than I list. I list 15 per day. So right now on eBay on the app, I have like 1,400 listed and 1,200 sold, but I also have sold like 500 items on Poshmark in the last 90 days. So all those things combined, that would be like 1,700. So I have 1,400 listed and 1,700 sold in the last 90 days currently. As far as how long did it take me to get there? I don't think it was really like a certain amount of time. It was just when I started really understanding how eBay worked and how my business worked and how the things that I purchased to sell, like the things that were unique to my store, once I really understood those things. So like for example, for some reason I might have missed it. Did somebody ask about like discounting items? Oh, somebody said, do your thrift stores do discounts? Okay. But as far as discounting my own items, Autoposher automatically decreases the price on my items every 30 days by 5%. So that's one of the automation tools that they have that I really, really appreciate. It actually will take down the listing. It will copy all the information from that listing, create a brand new listing, which is great for eBay, and it will lower the price based on however much you want. So my prices are slowly coming down. So that's going to help my sell through rate because sometimes I just overprice things and then they finally get down to a price where they will sell and then they sell. And then sometimes items just aren't that good. So they get down to a super cheap price where it's like a no brainer and somebody eventually picks it up. On top of that, about once a month for 2 weeks, I will run a very aggressive, like 30, 40, 50% off discount on my entire store for items that are over like 6 months old, for example. So for me, because I have over 100% sell through rate, I'm trying to sell things on average of 90 days or less. So if something's been there for 6 months, that means it's like twice as bad as my worst item that I want to pick up. So I'm okay with selling it at a loss or break even or at a very small profit to get that money back to reinvest it in good items because I'm always improving what I'm buying because I'm getting better, I'm getting smarter, I'm doing more research, I'm getting more knowledge. So anyway, that's I hope that kind of answers your question. Goodness, quick math. LOL. I was wondering about your shift away from clear bags. Wasn't sure if it was more cost efficient. Autoposture is a beast. I love it. I've had it since March. Yeah, I think I got it around April, maybe May. But yeah, it's been crushing it for me. For the bags, I just feel like it's an extra step when I'm shipping. And I really wanted to get shipping as fast as possible because that is one thing that like doesn't actually make money in my business. It's just something I have to do. So I want to do it as fast as I possibly can. So having it already in the bag just saves me a step, and I don't have to pay for the plastic bags, which isn't that big of a cost, but I might as well save it. And then also it's just like a bunch of plastic waste. Like I'm not huge environmentalist or anything, but to me it just doesn't really make sense to put plastic into another plastic into another plastic just for the sake of having a bunch of trash. Jason says best YouTube channels for intermediate advanced resellers. I hope that you would say this channel. If you think this channel is good for intermediate or advanced resellers, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I appreciate you. Let's see. I really appreciate a lot of things about J Ride's channel because he talks a lot about the similar things that I do, which is sell-through rate, cash flow, knowing your numbers. All those things are super important. I've really been enjoying getting to know KOA Shop and Surfs Up Finds. They've been really helpful with me. I've been trying to make some more short form content, and they're really good at that. Big Yumbo is amazing at clothing knowledge, vintage knowledge, sourcing videos. Not sourcing videos, I guess like more like haul videos, but explaining why things are really good. He finds really good stuff. Dusty Old Hat, another good friend. was a commenter on my channel who just kept spitting facts in the comments, and me and Yumbo talked him into making a YouTube channel. So he has really good information in his videos. I'm sure I'm leaving out people that I really, really love and appreciate. So if you're watching this, I didn't say you. It's no offense. I just first people that popped in my head. Josh says, how do you claim the eBay discounts for shipping supplies for a store? Okay, I'm going to pull this up on the other screen while I read the next comment. Locke says, do you prefer to manually send offers or the auto offer through AutoPosher? I'm nervous about it not allowing for counter offers. I don't know if it, I think it should allow for counter offers. I have automatic offers put on. I think it's helpful because if somebody's right on the cusp of buying something and they get that offer right away, that could be the thing that's going to, secure the sale. I'm pretty sure you do subscriber discounts. So subscriptions. Okay. So I'll show you how to find it. All right. This is back to this question for Josh. Okay, so I scroll down on my seller hub. I go selling tools. I go to subscriptions. And then I go here to subscriber discounts. And then you can